What is good, family? This is your girl. I am Courtney Michelle. Today we will be talking about the controversy surrounding Malika Andrews. We know her as the sports journalist and reporter of NBA Today on ESPN. Now, I've watched a lot of her commentary, and I have to admit, it does seem that not only does she have a blatant disdain for black men, but is pushing a feminist agenda in a male-dominated space. My question is how? How in the world does a woman with the qualifications to be a high school sports reporter on a local news station in Biloxi, Mississippi, become a panelist on a worldwide platform such as ESPN with a greatness such as a Vince Carter? Let's look at some of this commentary and discuss.
Like a possibly Kobe Bryant, when I've seen him personally get in people's face and just cuss them out to their damn near in tears, and they're grown men. You know, Michael Jordan probably would have been fighting his teammates if he had to see some of the stuff that these guys do. So I feel like what makes LeBron great, he's always been knocked, oh, he's not a killer, he'll make the right pass, and I've always loved that. But I also think sometimes that hurts him because if the two guys that I mentioned before saw some of the effort and energy that he saw from his teammates this year, it would have been an issue.
Matt Barnes was showing the difference of leadership between Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, from LeBron James. And of course, Matt Barnes would know a lot more about Kobe Bryant, being that he is the one that recruited Matt Barnes to the Lakers. So let's see what good old Malika Andrews have to say in rebuttal to that.
When Kobe, Dwight, and Nash all had injuries, though, they didn't win a playoff game.
They got to the playoffs, though.
But they didn't win a game. Neither did this Lakers team. The year 19, when he was averaging 22 on 37% shooting, Kobe did. The Lakers, they went 10 and 25 in the games that he played in. So I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Matt, but I'm not so sure it's well, Kobe Bryant would have been the white horse in someone's face and it doesn't turn into wins, then you're just getting in somebody's face.
But it's going to be a problem the entire season.
So what Malika Andrews decided to do was disregard Matt Barnes' opinion on how a team lead can not only affect the team, its morale, and also the season, but go in and low-key disrespect Kobe Bryant, the GOAT, the great, on how he could have had the ability to change another teams around by his leadership. But what does Matt Barnes know? He's only played 14 seasons in the NBA. Let's go to another clip.
When it comes to the superstar, I don't think that I think that it's like very, very rare air. And so there's a whole bunch of players that are knocking on the door of superstardom. But to me, you have to check off the box of not only your play, which I think, by the way, Jason, that's where it comes from. That's when you started to get this sentiment. It's because you are playing, sir, like a superstar. So hats off to you. But it's butts and seats. It's casual fan appreciation. I think all of that goes into superstar, which for me is why it's like Steph, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic knocking on that door potential. And then to me, it's like
Embiid's not a superstar?
Embiid's a superstar.
What are we doing here? Like, what's going on? Like, Jason Tatum was first team All-NBA. He's the best player on the finals team. He scored 47 points against the Milwaukee Bucks on the road.
Thank you.
With their season on the line. I don't know what the rubric is for superstar. I need a spreadsheet for all your...
Here we go again, Malika. You are downplaying the greatness that is Jason Tatum. He is top 10 players in the NBA. I think you might be confusing what a superstar is and what a Hall of Famer is. Even Google will let you know. Top 10 superstars in the NBA, Jason Tatum is right there. Let's go to another clip.
You can't look at a person and know what their intent was. It was a dangerous play regardless, but you can't. Okay. I didn't realize we had a bunch of mind readers on the panel. Kirk, please continue.
Kirk, how old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
21.
12. 12. How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
12.
I was about 13 years old when I dunked the ball for the first time. I know what a fast break looks like. I have 4 months out in a season because I had my wrist taken out on a dunk. I know not necessarily the intent to hurt, but I know the intent to foul extremely hard, and that's the repercussions.
Of course you do, Richard Jefferson. I mean, you did play 10 seasons. And Kendrick Perkins played 13 seasons. It's the disrespect and the audacity for this woman that's never played the sport to tell these men how a play is played in the NBA. Madam, take several seats. Let's go to the next clip.
Former Michigan State star Adrian Payne was shot and killed in Orlando, Florida, early Monday morning, the Orange County Sheriff's Office said. And Payne was the 15th pick by the Atlanta Hawks in 2014. played 4 seasons in the NBA with multiple teams. In 2018, he was waived by the Magic after he was named in a report by ESPN's Outside the Lines that he'd been involved in an alleged sexual assault at Michigan State in 2010. No charges were filed in that case.
This is probably the most disgusting clip of Malika Anderson. The fact that she reported on Adrian Payne's death by adding this sexual assault charge that the prosecutor even stated no crime was committed during his freshman year at Michigan State was disturbing. What's interesting, however, is that she did report on another death in the NBA. Let's see how she reports it.
I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Jonathan Tjarks, an NBA writer for The Ringer, who died over the weekend after a battle with a rare form of cancer. And he was just 35 years old. Tjarks wrote extensively about the Mavericks, and we at NBA Today send our heartfelt condolences to his wife, Melissa, and his son, Jackson, and his entire family.
That was very sweet and endearing, Malika. It's unfortunate that you did not do the same thing for Adrian Payne. What you tried to do in his death was bring up old sexual assault allegation that was proven to be false to ruin his reputation. That is the most disgusting thing that you can do to a man in his passing. But it's also something that a lot of feminists do. You see, you probably don't believe that that man accusation was false. A lot of feminists don't. As a matter of fact, it's hard for Malika Anderson to take out her personal feminist ideology and remove it from ESPN. Let's pull up a couple other clips. These I found interesting too.
Coach at 34 years old. And we'd be remiss not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic battery after an incident at Morgantown Bar.
Oh, Malika, we definitely can count on you to bring up the past transgressions of a black man. However, if you wanted to bring that up, you definitely could have added that since that incident occurred, he's been sober for 12 years, and that the president of operations for Boston, Brad Stevens, vetted him thoroughly and has complete trust in his leadership. At this point, I'm beginning to think that any black man in the NBA that has an ingrown toenail or the gout, you would probably report on that as well. But let's see how you report on another incident regarding another man that happens not to be black.
They are hiring Luke Walton as an assistant coach. That's according to ESPN senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Walton joins Coach J.B. Bickerstaff's staff. Say that 10 times fast. After spending the past 5+ seasons as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers and Sacramento Kings, Walton, who was dismissed after a 6-11 start with the Kings in November, was part of an NBA championship coaching staff with Golden State under Steve Kerr in 2000.
Wow, Malika. Yet again, very endearing and very professional. And you managed not to bring up anything of his past. I wonder why you won't do that to black men. You would have been amazing for COINTELPRO. Let's go to the next clip.
With all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. Women were unfairly dragged into this within the Celtics organization. You could see that Brad Stevens was visibly upset about this. And I also found that to be gross and unnecessary, that folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact. That was purely speculation. And so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more. We are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
First of all, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. He deserves. The fact of the matter is, I've said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I've already said he deserves to be fired, or he deserves to be there and handle it internally and privately.
Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for checking Malika Andrews for the disrespect she showed on his show. Not only did she make assumptions of something that he did not say, but she came in very aggressive, condescending, and over-talking the host. She was so concerned about what women were going to be blamed for that she completely missed the point. It's quite interesting, though, that in order to have a consensual relationship, it does take two. So if the man is wrong for his part, wouldn't it make sense that the woman would also be wrong in her part? But she refuses to have that particular conversation. As a feminist, you want equal rights, correct? So then you have to take these equal wrongs.
The sports world celebrated the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which bans discrimination based on gender in education, including sports. But today, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, declaring that the constitutional right to abortion, upheld for nearly a half century, no longer exists. In less than 24 hours, we celebrated equal rights for women, and now we react to women's reproductive rights being taken away.
Oh, you guys thought that she wasn't going to slip in her feminist, womanist ideologies on a sports network? Even if in 2018, the president of ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, implemented a stick-to-sports mandate. People have been calling for Malika to be fired. In my opinion, she's doing exactly what she was hired to do. Since ESPN was acquired by Disney, it turned into a huge network, not only producing sports shows, but documentaries and reality shows. This also means that the rise of wokeness and feminism is knocking right at its door. Last year, ESPN has been on a spiral going down, losing 10% of its overall subscribers. That equates to 8 million subscribers. What better way to tap into a new market than to hire a young, beautiful, quote-unquote, black womanist to be the star of your network? As for me, I can spot propaganda from a mile away, and it's unfortunate that ESPN has invited a Trojan horse to infiltrate what was once an amazing male-dominated sports space.